Hi, hello, welcome back to the class, everyone. Today we are entering to the news lesson, data storage capacity, right? Right. So as we have already learned about the data storages, you know the data storages, right? So here we are learning about the capacities of the data storage. A certain space is needed to store data in the computer. You know, if you want to save something in the computer, you should have a certain space in your computer. Data storage capacity is measured by units such as bits, bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and petabytes. And there are many more, okay? Uh, Let us understand how to arrange these different data storage capacities in order from the small unit to the big unit and to define the relationships between these as well. So when in this lesson we are going to compare the data storages, the capacities, the data storage capacities and the units, what is the smallest unit, what is the biggest unit, that those things we are going to learn in this lesson. So, units to measure data storage. So, what are the units to measure the data storage? Now, for an example, there are units to measure the liquid, isn't it? There are units to measure the rice. There are storage. There is a unit to. Okay. Make sure your mic is off. Huh? So there are units to measure the storage of the things, of the liquids and each and everything. Right? Okay. Likewise, if you want to measure the storage of the data, you know what is a data. I'm not going to tell you again. A data, the raw materials are the data, isn't it? Which doesn't have a unique meaning, which doesn't bears a meaning. It is a data. So these data we can measure them. There is a measurement for this data. So what are the units we use to measure these data? The first smallest unit of measuring the data is bit. Okay, bit. This is the smallest unit used in the computer to store data. This word is coined from the words binary digit. A bit is the two binary digits 0 and 1. So a bit is, it can be the two binary digits 0 or and 1. So these we call them as bits. It can be a 0 or it can be a 1. After the bit, byte is a little bit more bigger than the bit, right? So byte, 1 byte means 8 bits. 1 byte mean how many bits? 8 bits. You should remember that. Okay? 1 byte, 8 bits. There is another thing called nibble. Nibble is half of a byte. Half of a byte or 4 bits. This unit is not commonly used like bits and bytes. So nibbles, I think you have never heard about nibbles, but nibble is the half of a byte. Half of a byte means 1 nibble or 4 bits is a nibble. Understood? Next one, kilobyte. Now mostly nibbles are not used, so 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Then this consists of 1024 bytes. If 1024 bytes is equal to how much? 1024 kilobytes is written as KB or K byte. This consists of 1024 bytes. 1024 bytes are equal to this much kilobyte. Understood? Next one. this consists of 1024 kilobytes. 1024 kilobytes is equal to this much of bytes, or megabyte is written as MB or M byte. Now understood? Gigabyte, 1 GB, or you have used GBs. 1 GB, 1 gigabyte is made of 1024 megabytes. So 1 GB is equal to 1024 megabyte. Megabyte is written as GB or G byte. It is wrong to write like this, as it indicates gigabyte. It is not giga, okay? Because it is gigabyte, we can't write this gigabit, okay? If we write like this, it means gigabit, not byte. If you want to write it as gigabyte, you should write it in capital. 1 terabyte is made of 1024 gigabytes, and this is equal, when you are writing terabytes, it is TB. Petabyte, 1 petabyte is made of 1024 terabyte. It is easy. 1024 terabyte, 1 petabyte. 1024 gigabyte is 1 terabyte. 1024 megabyte is 1 gigabyte. 1024 kilobytes is 1 megabyte. 1024 bytes is 1 kilobyte. It is not hard. So this is how I have given to you in the short note. Can you see? 8 bits equal to 1 byte. 4 bits equal to 1 nibble. Okay? 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobyte, 1 megabyte. 1024 MB, 1 GB. 1024 GB, 1 TB. 1024 TB, 1 PB, petabyte. So this one you should remember it. It is not hard to remember. Okay, just by heart it and keep it, because there will be a question regarding the unit measurement of the data storage. Okay, understood the measurement of the data storages? So normally these data storages are considered in the hard disk or else in the RAMs. Okay, normally in RAMs and hard disk we are considering about this unit measurement, and also in the storage devices like pen drive, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray disc. Okay, right. Now let's go to the capacity of data storage devices. So okay, this is not needed. The capacity of data storage devices. Different storage devices possess different storage capacities. The tasks fulfilled by these devices are also different. Let us study these different storage devices. So, you know there are storage devices, right? So, here we are going to learn the capacity of the storage devices and the speed of the storage devices and the cost per unit of the storage devices, which is the most and which is the least. Okay, so when going with the capacity of the storage devices, okay, the capacity of the storage devices, register memory, you know register memories, right? So register memory is the smallest capacity storage device. We can't store a lot of things in a memory register or in the register memory. Cache memory also the second largest memory in the computer. Compact disc is bigger than the cache memory. DVD bigger than the CD. RAM is bigger than the DVD. ROM is bigger than the ROM and flash memory. Flash memory means the pen drives. Okay, bigger than the RAMs, and hard disk is bigger than the flash drives or the flash memories or the pen drive, and magnetic tape is the biggest one of the all. So this one you should remember. Okay, so this is classified according to the capacity of the data storage device. Here, see, when reading and writing data, the time spent to access the device's access speed is different. Consider the figure given below. Now, in these storage devices, we are reading and writing data now. You can remember that, isn't it? So, we are writing and reading the data from these storage devices. Okay. So when reading and writing the data in these storage devices, or we call it as access speed, when we are accessing, we can classify it as we can classify according to the access speed. These storage devices, we can classify them as according to the access speed. So register memory, we can access it fast. Why? Because its capacity, the capacity of the register memory is smaller. No? So when you access the memory register, or when you access the register memory, you can access it very fast. Understood? When comparing the access of the hard disk and the register memory, the very fast access is to the register memory, because the register memory's capacity is smaller. Now consider as the register memory is a small room. Okay, it is a small room, and the hard disk is a big room. So when you in this big room, there are a lot of books, and in the small room also there are books. But when you are accessing things from both of these rooms, okay, in which room you can find the needed thing very quickly? Now tell me. Without taking much time, in which room you can find the thing which you are searching for in a quick speed? In the smallest room or in the biggest room? In the smallest room. So the capacity is bigger there. So when you are accessing things, it is slower. Understood? Here, the capacity of the room is smaller. So when you are accessing things, you can access it in a fast speed. Now understood the difference? So that is the difference here, right? So comparing these data storages, register memory you can easily and in a speed time limit you can find the data or access the data. Cache memory is the second one. Then random access memory, read-only memory, flash memory, hard disk, digital versatile disk, compact disk, and magnetic tape. Right? So this is how the storage level. So this is how the access speed is measured in the data storages. Next one. Cost per unit storage. For different storage devices, cost per bit to store data is different. For instance, the cost is more for register memory and cache memory. The comparison is shown in the figure given below. Right? So here the cost is more. For now you know the capacity of the storage devices and the access speed of the storage devices. Now cost per unit storage device mean when you are storing data into the storage devices, You hope to access it in a speed time, right? Isn't it? When you are storing things in the storage device, you hope to store this data to be accessed in the speed unit, isn't it? Access is speed. So now see here, if you store data in the register memory, the cost per unit storage here is high. Understood? It is demanded. The demand is high. But when you are storing data in the DVD or the hard disk, the cost per unit storage is low. Now understood the meaning of cost per unit storage? Okay. So let's go to the next heading, coding systems. What are coding systems? Coding system. Actually, there are 4 different coding systems. Okay, we are going to learn about 4 different coding systems. For an example, see here. When you are entering data like this, numbers, symbols, text, whatever, pictures, when you are entering it to the computer and the computer data representation. You know, when I enter these data into the computer, these are understandable by the human being now. But you know that the computer doesn't know or doesn't understand the human language. So what it does, it converts these human readable form data into computer understandable data, and it is the binary numbers. Okay, the binary numbers. According to the above figure 3.15, when you enter a data to the computer, it converts the data to different patterns made of 0 and 1. Thus, binary codes are used when storing numeric, alphabetic, special character, images and sounds in internal storage devices for computer. You know, we have already learned in the second chapter that when you are storing data or when you are inputting data to the computer, it stores the data in the binary codes or in the binary number system. Also, when you are inputting something to the computer, it takes into the computer, it converts it into binary number system and takes it inside the computer, isn't it? We learned something like this in the second chapter. So as you know, as it is told here, the computer uses the binary number system patterns, that is 0 and 1, to represent the data inside the computer. So it can be whatever, okay? It can be a color, it can be a picture, it can be a number, a text, a shape, okay? A text, or as it is told here, as an image, a character, whatever, sounds. When you are entering it to the computer, it converts into binary system and inputs to the computer. In the beginning of the lesson, if you remember, when you type A on the keyboard, the code you get for A is the bits pattern 10000001. The number, the binary code of letter A. This is the binary code of letter A. The number of bits used is 7. So how many bits are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 bits here. You know what is a bit. This is a bit. This is a bit. This is a bit. So here in the letter A, the binary number pattern is this one, and there are 7 bits here. Thus, a combination made of a bit pattern is used to represent each data, and the bits used for each code is different. Now, this number or this binary code is particularly uniquely is only to the letter A. This is for the letter A only. If you write the letter B, if you type the letter B, it has its unique number pattern. Likewise, each and every number, each and every character, each and every picture, sound, image, special characters, everything has its unique binary code. Understood? Following are different coding system used. So from the beginning till now, there are some different coding system we are using. Okay. So first of all, they have used the binary coded decimal, the BCD number system. Okay, the BCD, not number system, the BCD coding system. Okay, so what is a BCD? Binary coded decimal. What is a binary coded decimal? Now you know when you are writing, when you are writing a program, okay, you should use these codes. Understood? So here, as I told you, each and every character of the computer, color, sound and everything, there is a code. There is a code system. So the first code system is BCD. So this coding system, the BCD coding system was used in the early stages of the computing. In this system, one digit is represented by 4 bits. So one digit is equal to how many bits? 4 bits. This is used only to represent decimal numbers. So BCD is used only to represent the decimal numbers. You know what are the decimal numbers we have? 0 to 9. No? So 10 digits. For these 10 digits, each the binary code is 4 bits. Right? 16, that means 16 symbols are there. How many symbols? 16 symbols are there. 2 to the power 4, it is equal to 16, can be represented in this system. The table 3.15 shows the BCD codes for the 10 digits from 0 to 9. So these are the 10 digits of the BCD as you see here. So for an example, they will give you a number like this and convert it into BCD. So what you should do, you should take the BCD numbers here. ASCII is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So BCD they used to represent the decimal numbers. Okay, there are 16 characters as they told you. There are 16 characters. So they used it to represent the decimal numbers. ASCII coding system is used for what? Initially, ASCII coding system used 7-bit binary digit. BCD used 4-bit binary digit. ASCII coding system used 7-bit binary digit. Should remember it. 128 characters are there. Can be represented using this coding system. So how many characters can be represented using the ASCII? 128. ASCII is used to represent text. Appendix table 3.7. So if you go to your book in the appendix table 3.17, you can find the ASCII table. So the ASCII, in the ASCII table, they represent only text. You know what are text? No, letters. So only the letters are represented in the ASCII coding system. See here. ASCII system is designed and approved by ANSI, American National Standard Institute. For an example, when the word school is entered into the computer through the keyboard, write down how it is understood by the computer. Exchange or to convert the ASCII into binary system. So here S is equal to 83, C equal to 99, H equal to 104, O equal to 111, L equal to 108. So what you should do here, you should divide them by 2 and get the 7 bits of the binary number. Now understood how to obtain this answer? The EBCDIC code system introduced. It is extended binary coded. In BCD, they represented only the binary coded decimal. After that, they extended the BCD. They extended the BCD to make more characters. Okay, you know, before when they invented the computer, they invented it to do only the mathematical operations, no? So the 17 characters are more than enough to do these mathematical operations. When the technology developed, the 17 characters are not enough. So they developed the code system and they brought up into 128 characters. Now these 128 characters are also not enough. For that, they invented something called EBC, or they extended the binary coded decimal number coding system, and they called it as extended binary coded decimal interchange code. Here we can write only 128 characters using ASCII system, but the EBCDIC code system allows the use of 256 characters. We can use in EBCDIC. Here, one symbol can be written with a binary number which contains of 8 bits. Here, 8 bits are used to represent a EBCDIC character into binary number. 256 characters can be represented using this number. This system was used in IBM mainframe computers. Can you remember we learned about the IBM mainframe computers? In mainframe computers, there was a computer named IBM. So this code system, the EBCDIC code system is used in IBM mainframe computers. So these characters are used in that computers. The table below shows that there are different EBCDIC codes for the 26 different capital letters and 26 different EBCDIC codes for the 26 simple letters in this system. So here these are the EBCDIC capital and simple letters are shown here for you, right? Okay. Next one, Unicode system. Now you know before when they invented or when they used the BCD code system, they represented only the text, no? Then they used the ASCII system to represent 128 characters. These characters are not enough, right? Then they extended that code system and brought up the extended binary coded decimal interchange code. Here they use 256 characters can be represented in this code system. Then now we users use the Unicode code system. Unicode system. In Unicode system, there are 16 bits binary digits. How many binary digits? 16. So we can represent 65,536 different symbols here. That means in this Unicode system, we can represent Sinhala, Tamil letters, special symbols and picture symbols also we can represent it. Understood? So before only the English letters are used to represent them. But now we can represent in Unicode system. Here, this is an example, okay? Example, we can use Sinhala Tamil letters and special symbol and pictures also as given here. But we can use other language letters also can be used in the Unicode system. Now got it? So in this Unicode system, as it is shown here, special symbols can be used, pictures can be used. These are emojis, right? Tamil letters, Sinhala letters, English letters, and many more things. Unicode system uses unique number for each number, text or symbol in any operating system. Yes, most of the languages are. Now, why the Unicode system is used? Because it is easy. Okay, when we are uploading things to the internet, we use the Unicode system. Understood? Okay. Also, examples for Unicode, picture and graphic data also can be represented here. Picture and graphic data can be represented here. As you know, this is a rose. Yes. Here the rose is pink color, but you should know in pink color also there are various pink colors. Understood? In pink color there is a dark pink color, light pink color, orange pink color. There are several various pink colors. So each and every pink color there is a code. Color in a picture and their binary values. So these are the binary values of these colors. Also, sounds has its own binary code, binary value. According to the pitch, according to the music, according to the sound, there is a binary code for this. So, just imagine, will you, each and everything when we are storing data in the computer, they should be represented in binary code. So, all the data which we are entering into the computer, which are readable by the human being, are changed or are converted into binary number system and stored in the computer. Now understood? So, yeah, as shown in the figure below, is the sound emitted from a speaker is normally represented as analog waves. You know that analog waves, no? However, all data in computer are digital data and those are made of bytes. Hence, sound which comes as an analog data is converted to a digital data. Thus, a sound is also represented in bits pattern made of zeros and ones in a computer. By this coding system, codes are classified to represent characters of all the international language. Got the answer, Kenneth? All the international language. We can use it by this coding system. The institution which initiated is the International Standard Institution and Unicode Consortium. Unicode is largely used in designing websites and newspapers. As I told you, we use this Unicode to design the websites and the newspapers. Because for an example, I will tell you. Now, if I am writing a document using the Word, okay, there are some special fonts, no? So, if I am putting this data or if I am inputting this data or opening this data in Kenneth's laptop, the same font should be there, no? To read the document. If the same font is not in your computer, then you should install the font. If not, you can't read this document. So, the easiest way when I transfer a data from a machine, from a device into another device, the most used font style is the Unicode font style. Unicode font style is free. Okay, we don't have to pay for that. It is free of charge. So when you are uploading things to the computer or when you are designing, not to the computer, the internet, when you are designing websites and all these things, you use the Unicode font. Now understood what is the Unicode. So now, okay, now the mostly used code system is the Unicode code system. Now understood? Right. So I'll wind up the class for today. Until we will meet again at the next class. Thank you for joining the class, everyone, and have a nice day.